you ever found yourself not doing something because you've convinced yourself that people are going to think something of you? So you were going to start an exercise class and you don't, because you've gone, oh, people will think that I'm really unfit. People will think that shouldn't be here. People will think that... But here's the thing. One, nobody's thinking anything because they're only thinking about themselves. And two, nobody's thinking anything because they're only thinking about themselves. And here's how it comes out. You walk in, say somebody has a negative thought about you and they go, oh, look at that person. Why are they here? They're really overweight. The thing about that thought from that person, one, you can't actually hear it. Two, their thought about you has nothing to do with you. It is only to do with them. They are projecting. So, if that person has a negative thought, and they look at somebody and they think something like, oh, that person's ugly or whatever, you know, that is about how they view themselves. It's about how they fear being accepted or being received into the world. Their fear is that other people will think of them as being unattractive or overweight or whatever the negative thought is, because they already think that about themselves. So when you project and you think that they are going to think something mean about you, that is you projecting, because maybe you have negative thoughts about other people. Maybe you think that other people will think a certain way about you because that's how you think about other people. Because your thoughts about other people have pretty much never got anything to do with them, and it's got everything to do with you. So we talked before about changing your internal narrative, how you view yourself. And this is super empowering, because see, when you change the narrative about yourself, you change your external narrative. You change how you view the world, you change how you view other people, and you know, you become a nicer person. So I talked before about being humble and people not thinking of themselves as attractive because they've got this sort of misconception that there's a humbleness about that. But actually what happens is that you're creating a negative narrative about yourself, and then you can project that negative narrative out into the world. So you think of yourself as unattractive, you're more likely to think of other people as unattractive. Or you're more likely to think that if somebody thinks of themselves as attractive, you are more likely to think negatively of them for thinking that. The better you think about yourself, the happier you are with yourself, and the more positively you project out into the world. So let's go back to the start. Now we've changed our narrative about ourselves to something positive. We think of ourselves as interesting, as fun, as kind, as loving people. And we think about walking into a room full of other people. Now we might be more inclined to think that they will be accepting, that they will be nice people. Because now we're projecting our positive mindset about ourselves onto them. We've got rid of the negative mindset and we've redone it. We've retold the story into a positive one that creates a more positive experience of the world. Now, I've talked before in other videos about changing that narrative. It is as simple as changing the narrative. You can go ahead and you can overcomplicate it and you can argue with me. Do so, please. You can argue with me as much as you like, but I promise you it is as simple as changing the narrative. It will take practice. I didn't say it was easy. I said it was simple, and simple isn't always easy. So it takes practice. You've got to do it. You've got to keep doing it. You've got to keep doing it. You've got to keep doing it until that becomes the norm for you. And you're going to start noticing it in other people. You'll be like, oh, why do they think everybody's so cruel? Why are they always saying that people are horrible? There's only one common denominator between you and all other people. So if you think that all other people are the enemy, change your internal narrative. Change your projection. and change how you feel about your place in the world.